Marvel. I know it. You probably know it. They make movies along with games and comics and a bunch of other crap that I don't really care about. But even if I did, that's not what this video is about, okay? Today, we're talking about the MCU. The greatest cinematic universe with a lot of really great movies and some of the most movies of all time. I never cared about superhero movies growing up, to be honest, let alone Marvel in general. In fact, the first superhero movie I watched, besides The Incredibles, obviously, was the Justice League in like 2017 or whenever that came out. With my buddy, who was a bigger nerd than me, and I had a good time. I haven't watched it since, so I don't know now if it's actually really bad, like everyone claims it is, but you know. And I only ever watched the MCU when Infinity War was just about to come out, since my buddy, he was, I don't know, he was kind of into Marvel and DC. I don't think he really had a favorite until Infinity War came out, but then he wanted someone to watch it with, and I got hooked. I binged all the movies before, a couple weeks before, within a couple weeks, so I was ready for Infinity War. And then I got super into Marvel. I started keeping up with movies and watching like videos by new rock stars. No, here. And I've been watching ever since. And at this rate, I'm a bigger nerd than my buddy was, to be honest. And just recently, we decided to rewatch the whole MCU because we were gonna watch all the Spider-Man movies because I'd never seen those either, and that's his favorite superhero. So, and you can't just watch the MCU Spider-Man movies without watching the whole thing, right? So anyways, I figured I might as well rank all the movies. Because quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of the MCU slander. Okay? It's 2025. We can admit that MCU was amazing and still has a lot of better movies coming out than just a lot of other movies, At least in my opinion. Now, I watch movies to have a good time. Okay? Sue me. I've never been a fan of horror or lovey-dovey movies, and that's why I like the MCU so much, because they were at the bare minimum entertaining. So if you only watch deep, introspective movies that make you think and act pretentious, that's fine. But you're probably not gonna be a fan of how I rank these. That being said, I'm gonna go over these movies in phases. They came out in phases because Marvel is gonna have a big year this year because of all the movies they're putting out. So let's get started, alright? Phase 1. Okay. Here we go. We got amazing, great, good, okay, and bad. Never seen. The only ones looking ahead that I've never seen are just like some of the shows. So, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Starting off with 2008's Iron Man 1. Where to put it? This movie started everything. Damn, it's harder than I thought it would be. Okay, I'll say it's good. It's definitely really good. If it weren't for this movie, we wouldn't have the MCU, and movies would be way different now, for sure. I don't know. What can I say about this movie that hasn't been said? It's really iconic. There's a lot of great moments. The villain has a lot of good moments too. I mean, the ending, I think, is better than a lot of people give it credit for. But I'm just gonna keep these short. But it's pretty good, I'll say. It's pretty rewatchable. Like if you see it on like TV, like oh, I'd watch that. So yeah, it's definitely good. Next is 2008, also's The Incredible Hulk. It's okay. Um, I on the second time doing it, it was a lot better. I don't know why, but it's not bad, not terrible. It's definitely pretty slow in a lot of spots, but like basically everything with the Hulk is really good. And I don't know. I like this Bruce, even though it's played by a different actor. Um, I don't know how well he would have worked in the rest of the MCU, to be honest, quite frankly. But it's not a terrible movie. It is just a little slow sometimes, but you know, there's a lot of good parts about it. Like the Abomination, that's pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's okay. Next we have Iron Man 2, which a lot of people hate for whatever reason. I don't get it. It's basically just everything again. Basically everything good about the Iron Man 1, but again, the worst part, I do think the villain is a little worse, but he's still pretty intimidating and he gets quite a bunch of shit done. I don't know. I guess yeah. It's slightly less rewatchable for me than Iron Man 1, so that's why I put it lower, but yeah. I think it's a really good movie. Especially like the opening with the whole like court scene, that's really good. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a good movie. Next we have Thor. And hot take, so far, haven't finished watching the rest of the MCU yet. Still got a couple movies to go. This is currently my least favorite movie in the MCU. But it's not bad. No. This one is just slightly more boring than Hulk. Like, there's even more scenes that are just kind of eh. But, like, all the Asgard and stuff looks really good. Thor is just, he was not great yet. But all the other characters I'd say, are pretty good. But just Thor was kind of boring and until he got to the human world. But, I mean, you know, there's, it's not terrible, but it is kind of like it's good for the first time I watched it, but it like I don't know, it's pretty boring. So I wouldn't like go out of my way to rewatch this if I wasn't watching the whole MCU. So I don't know. That's why I'm giving it lower than Hulk. So next we got, and I don't know if this is a hot take or anything, but this is better than the first Iron Man movie. It's a better origin story, in my opinion. Well, that is hard to say because, yeah, I'll say it's a better origin story. Like, the growth of Tony Stark is better throughout the entire MCU, but just for the first, like, how it starts and how it ends, seeing, like, how good of a person Cap is, and then getting rewarded by becoming the soldier, and still, like, completely selfless and just a great person. That's cool to see, and a lot of action in this movie is really good. The villain's good. The ending is pretty tough, Loki. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty good. A lot of really good moments and stuff, so. Still, I don't think I'd call it great, but yeah, it's a really good movie. I really like it. That's what I like, especially at least out of all these so far, I'd rewatch it for sure first. I don't know. So, next we got The Avengers. And man, this is a great movie. It really is. Just the team dynamic, the way everybody works together, all like the arguments, like everybody has good points, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it. Like the whole action thing. I don't know, everyone talks about the Sky Portal, but I don't know. If you don't watch a bunch of movies, it's fine. But I don't know. It flows so smoothly. Like it works so good. And yeah, Just the ending, the whole story's really good. All the characters are good. Rip Coulson, he was one of the best characters in there too. Just all around great movie. Very very rewatchable. And I mean, couldn't have the MCU without Iron Man, but you definitely couldn't have had it without the Avengers. Like the Iron Man was the start, and then the Avengers is just what, boom, skyrocketed it and just made it what it is today. So yeah. hmm So far, that's what I got. That's phase one for you. I mean, all around. Eh. Of course, we haven't got there yet, but I don't actually know what the consensus for best phase is. I'm assuming it's phase 2 or 3. Definitely not 4 or 5. People say, and so far, I guess we'll rank the phases too. So for the phases, so far it's at the top, but tell you right now, it's probably not gonna stay there. So, but yeah, part 2 coming soon.